I would like to thank one of my subscribers, JG. This is an article that came out in Men's Health, June 13th, 2019. Male infertility is actually getting worse. It's almost becoming crisis level, ladies and gentlemen. I was reading some recent articles on this, and now they're saying they believe it's in the diet. This is impacting mainly Western men in North America, Europe, and Australia. So they are saying many of these men are not even as fertile as their fathers and grandfathers once were. So the men of today of Western descent have half of the sperm that their fathers had. You remember I did an article from GQ magazine. They said these males of today are even more female than their fathers. I was really shocked they even wrote that, but they did. So years ago, and I guess they still do this in a sense, if a couple could not get pregnant, then most of the fault would lie on the woman. But that really shouldn't be the case, not anymore, because it's estimated that infertility affects 1 in 6 heterosexual couples. And in 40% of the cases, the cause lies with the man. Despite advances in health science, the problem is only getting worse. A study published last year showed that among men from Europe, North America, and Australia, sperm counts have halved in less than 40 years. Men's fertility and reproductive health seem very much to be under threat in our society, says Sheena Lewis. Yeah, you think if they're half of what sperm count used to be 40 years ago, yeah, I would say that's a big problem. That's a huge problem. Despite this, the global conversation around conception still largely centers on women. Exactly. Usually when a couple is infertile, they heavily test the women. But this is pretty much telling you they need to look at these men as well. It may not always be the woman. The medical and scientific study of reproduction has historically focused on women's bodies, says Liberty Barnes. So it's no surprise that when we start dealing with infertility, this continues to be the case. So they always point to the woman first. There is perhaps a correlation between this tendency and the way we seem to know so little about our declining sperm counts. It's something we rarely think about as individuals unless it becomes a problem. As for the medical community, it's aware that sperm counts are declining, but it's not sure exactly why. So they're saying it's the diet, y'all, but they're really just taking a guess. They don't know that for certain. Okay, I often compare sperm production to an assembly line in a car factory, says Tim Child, medical director of Oxford Fertility, one of the UK's largest IVF treatment centers. It just takes one bit to go wrong, and the end product won't be as good as it should be. It's the same with sperm. If there's one enzyme missing, one protein that's not quite right, then it could affect the end result. That this seems to be the predominantly Western phenomena suggests that the problem isn't largely natural. It has something to do with our lifestyle and our diets, says Lewis. We know this because in countries such as India, richer people who adopt a Western lifestyle end up having more issues. Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. There have been studies, ladies and gentlemen, on sickle cell. When Africans come to this country, they don't have sickle cell. They don't you don't go to Africa and hear about sickle cell. But once they start eating the American diets when they come over here from Africa, they all of a sudden they develop sickle cell. So that tells you it is environmental. It's not genetic at all. So I can see the diet as one factor. I don't think it's the whole reason why, but I definitely can see it as being one factor. Many of these, hold on, let me just go on. Environmental pollutants are a probable factor, with multiple studies linking air pollution with abnormal sperm shape. We are also having children later, and sperm quality is significantly poorer in those over 45. But there is, as yet, no smoking gun, no definitive cause. All we have is speculation. Exactly. Exactly. They have not been able to pinpoint this thing at all. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the articles I did last year, it said plastics. They were blaming plastics on the reason why the sperm count dropped. But my thing is, if it's the plastic, don't we all handle plastic on a regular basis? So wouldn't that impact everybody? I'm just saying. When a couple are experiencing fertility issues, their GP will most likely suggest a variety of tests for the woman and possibly a semen test for the man. They will be recommended IVF treatments, and that is not foolproof. That doesn't work for everybody. Wow. I mean, who knew in this day and age we would be talking about poor semen and half of what men had a generation before? Wow. So there's a lot more couples, from what I'm gathering from this whole thing, that are getting IVF treatments. And that can be really expensive. If you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to do this. And a lot of insurance companies just don't cover it at all. All right, so the men who visit the clinic come alone, and they are given detailed health questionnaire that is used to assess the cause of their low sperm count. If we can find out what is behind it, we might be able to treat it, says Homa. The leading known cause of male infertility, she says, is varicocoele, a clamp of abnormal enlarged veins around or above the testicles. This leads to an engorgement of blood that heats the testes. Damn, that sounds painful, don't it? Sounds painful. If you raise the temperature of the testes too high, you can destroy sperm development. Okay, well, why is this only happening in men in Europe, North America, and Australia? I mean, why would that happen to just them and no one else? That just seems weird to me. I mean, why would this be just pinpointed in certain men and not others? That's my question. I mean, this thing leaves me with more questions than answers. I guess because they really don't know. They really seriously don't know. So they're saying right now, with this low sperm count, there are no drugs, no surgeries, or medication that can fix men's fertility problem. So for these couples that are struggling to get pregnant, IVF is really their only hope. They don't really have too many other options. Wow, y'all, this is really sad. You know, how do you have another generation if people can't reproduce? You can't. You can't have another generation without babies. So they're saying the sperm count in Western men is now on life support. Damn. I don't know, y'all. Tell me what you think it is. This is very strange. When, okay, so if the Western North American men are having this and the European man and the Australian man, what about South America? What about Africa? What are they doing that's different from the Western male where they're not having these kind of problems? What are they doing that's different? Do they have better diets than Americans? So if you're going to blame it on the diet, then places where they're not struggling with low sperm count, they must have better diets. I'm just saying. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. This is deep. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.